It says I am live. So what's up there, you guys? Your man Joe. Came around just to find that you need to know. Thank you for coming on in this random podcast. I was going to make a video. I'm not a video. I was going to do a live stream, but I just didn't know when. And since I was pretty much recording for on some other stuff, so I thought I'd jump on. Today that we're going to be getting into the subject of I am your wife, not your maid. Um, this whole thing all started when I posted something on Facebook, on my Facebook timeline saying I like maids. And for some odd reason, the people they didn't like the idea, I guess. They were saying a wife is not the maid, and went on. And all I said was wife. All I said was I like maids. Like a couple of more times. When I said that, I was like, man. So then I look up the word or the definition of what maid is. So let me look it up for you guys real quick. Look up the definition of maid and see what it's about. Maid, 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 meaning. A female, a maid is a female domestic servant. So you're probably thinking, Joe, I am a wife. I am not a maid. Well, you kind of are. You're just a maid that's just married. I know not many people are not going to be very happy with what I just said, but I'm just going to state, pretty much my opinion about something because I've noticed something. When I try to look up like videos on YouTube, about maids and stuff like that. No, there's a couple of them, but like most majority were like Nollywood movies, like or African or like kind of Jamaican or African movies on there. And when I was watching, watching like a bunch of them and stuff like that. They were like, I don't know the name by heart, but but the one thing I do have in common is that about these Nollywood movies, these movies that I was watching. One of the most common was that at least I've noticed is that a lot of these wives, well, they was living deliciously. They were very rich. I would say rich and probably wealthy. Big, wealthy family, and or not family, but wealthy marriages, because they didn't have in the story they didn't have kids yet, or at least I don't know if they were. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but one of the most common was that the woman. Well, I'll say the woman had maids, had a maid, a maid, and also in the movies that the wife was. They were still very able bodied. They seemed that they could have cleaned, cook and clean the house and stuff like that, but they're doing everything that is outside the house, and they had to meet that. And they had to make, cook and clean, make sure the house is tidy, and the husband does whatever the husband does. The husband still works in the beginning of the story. Sometimes when the wife is just out the house, she just religiously or just, the first movie that I did see was the movie. I like I said, I don't know the name by heart, but the movie was with a woman. She was very religious. She always leave the home. She always go to the church. The church is she doesn't take notice of her husband. Take notice of her husband's needs and stuff like that. And she just right out the door just want to go to head out to the church. Even sometimes at night they even spend the night at the church, which is weird. Then all of a sudden, the maid that she hired, trying to seduce the husband and stuff like that. And I was kind of a bit like, I mean, the okay is the way that how she was seducing. It was like kind of funny, kind of goofy, kind of like, and the man still kind of like he like resisted and stuff like that. Um, but then, but then over time, um, the husband started to take notice of the maid, and the maid started. I mean, then the husband had the feelings for the maid and stuff like that. And they had fornication. Um, then and then one thing, then after that, they started to coming up more drama. And towards the end, the wife got pregnant. I think the wife got pregnant by another guy. I think. Um, and then there's another one that I did see. But one of them, but I would say that one of the most is that the most common I say in these movies is that the wife leaves the home. The second one is the maid takes the wife's place. The maid takes the wife's place because it's kind of weird because I always assumed that the maid was belongs to the husband or the husband hired the maid, but no, like most common is like the mostly the wives that hire maids to cook and clean because they were wealthy, and in the storyline they was like very wealthy or rich or wealthy, however it is, they just live in a very big home, you know. And I guess the wife doesn't just seem to be very busy outside of the home doing whatever that they want. Um, and all of a sudden, I started to have thoughts about like Abraham and Sarah, or Abraham and Sarah in the book. That just comes up to mind whenever when I got to a point where I was just watching these movies. That's when that like the storyline of Abraham and Sarah came up. So I have my Bible with me, and it's kind of similar. Not entirely, but it's kind of similar. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Where is it? Oh yeah, come to me with the book of Genesis, chapter 16. All right. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid. She had a handmaiden. I would have, I like as far as like having maidens and stuff like that. I would assume that uh, that would be like Abraham's stuff. Abraham's property or something like that. But I didn't. But overall, let's get into it. Um, and she had a handmaiden, an Egyptian, um, whose name was Hagar. Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord, the Lord have restrained me from bearing. I pray thee to go into my maid, her maid. Go into my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of Sarai. I kind of bit because I was kind of bit like, wait, why did Abraham have to do it? I mean, they at the end, Abraham and Sarah was pretty old, so I guess desperate times call for desperate measures. I guess. Um, and Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, the Egyptian. After Abram had dealt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. Just like how I said, a lot of wives, not all of them. I'm not saying that. I think even middle class women can be like that too. That. So just like I was saying before, a lot of wives, they're giving up positions to other women. As far giving up their position of being a housewife or being, a cleaner. I say cleaner or a nurturer in the home or cleaner and stuff like that. They're giving positions. They're giving their positions of a wife to their maidens because whatever that particular. I mean, this to be a cooker, to giving their positions to their maids or whoever they use. I wish I had lost my train of thought. But giving their positions to their maidens to do their bidding. Um, and it's kind of interesting um, how that kind of relates to the movies that I saw that it's that they given like wives who have these wealthy giving up their positions as wives. I don't know why particularly. I just thought it was pretty interesting. I don't know if I should read more. I'm gonna read a little bit more. Um, and he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given I have given my maid unto thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. And Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hands. This is what Abraham said. Behold, said unto Sarai, Behold, sorry. Abraham said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hands. So Abram pretty much said, This is your responsibility, not mine. Um, and uh, and do to her that pleased thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her. She fled from her face. Um, let's read a little bit more. This other subject called the an angel send Hagar back in telling her she will bear a child. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness by the fountain in the way of Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai maid, whence whence thou came, and withered wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress, Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that is that it shall not be numbered of multitudes. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with a child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call him Ishmael, because the Lord have heard thy affliction. And it's kind of being a housemaker or a caretaker, um, and give it unto their wives. I don't think in the movie they didn't look like they didn't notice, but they started to know that all of a sudden their husbands are starting to feel for them, or the maids are trying to feel for their husbands, or trying to scam him, actually trying to scam him for money, or try to get a baby by the mistress's husbands, I guess you can say. I just thought it would be pretty much thought about sharing. So don't try to leave your positions, ladies. The main point is don't try to get maids. You know, don't try to get maids. Become a housewife. Or if you try to get maids, then you're gonna be. It's like leaving. I guess you can. I'm pretty much trying to say is that if you are hiring a maid into your home or bringing a maid into your home, you're pretty much leaving your position as a wife of the home. So yeah, so keep that in mind. I guess you can say I also wanted to say I guess the wives in the movies were kind of a bit busy in the world as well. Um, I wish that not wish, but I would like to. I should have like scheduled this about how so people can like jump in and chime in and see how they would feel. But this is just something that's real quick. I was like, Joe, 15 minutes is not real quick. I know, but let me know how you guys feel. Am I right? Am I wrong? I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just giving out an opinion. What do you guys think? You guys think that, having a maid is, replacing you as a wife in the household? I don't know. Unless you're like crippled. I can see if you're crippled and if you had a maid. I can see that. But um yeah, so without further ado, it's your man Joe. See you guys in another live stream or so, okay? All right. And